Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, May 26, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We like the video and the YouTube algorithm sends the video out to more weather lovers just like you guys. Share this video with your friends, your relatives, your church brethren, and subscribe if you have yet done so. Feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what the has been like in here recently. Also ask any other related questions that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at this tweet from NHC_TAFB, and this stands for National Hurricane Center's Tropical Analysis and Forecast Branch. And we can see that they made a post today at about 10 a.m. highlighting the fact that we have our second tropical wave of the season right here across the open waters of the Atlantic, and it's definitely pushing westward. Also, we need to highlight the fact that we made a post today on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, not only on our Twitter page but on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876, highlighting the fact that the tropical wave has been doing a number on the eastern Caribbean islands. Lots of showers and thunderstorm activity across sections of the leeward and the northern windward islands today, and this tropical wave is expected to move westward as most of them usually do, and it should be affecting Jamaica's weather by Tuesday into Wednesday. And we also have another post from Andy Hazelton. He's actually a scientist at NOAA, so he works at the National Hurricane Center in general. And he posted today highlighting the fact that this same tropical wave that we've been watching is expected to make it into the Western Caribbean by the end of the month. And the GFS, that's the Global Forecast System from the United States, is showing some amount of circulation with this system across the Western Caribbean. It has definitely been hinting at that with each and every run, but not all models have been showing this, even although some of them are starting to jump on board. We can actually see the moisture associated with this tropical wave, some of it across Jamaica, most of it near Central America or towards the southwest of the island. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what it does, so I'll be keeping you posted as it relates to what the Euro model is actually showing. We're going to be going out in time with these runs, and we're going to be focusing our attention across the Caribbean as well as on the time stamps. So going out in time, we're just going to be going out to the next 168 hours. That's actually the next 7 days, just like what the U.S. National Hurricane Center would do. And we start to see some amount of greens coming into portions of Jamaica right there. This is what 21Z on Tuesday, so that's about 4 p.m. on Tuesday. We're starting to see the greens that represent rainfall coming in, spilling into Wednesday as well. It's gonna be interesting. We know these tropical waves definitely bring the most in the way for rainfall to section of eastern Jamaica more than any other place. And then as we go out in time to wrap up the 168 hours, we start to see a mess of green, mess of moisture, especially across the southwestern Caribbean, just like what Andy Hazelton just posted. But what about the GFS that he highlighted? The GFS that he posted this morning was more than likely the 6Z run. Now we're looking at the 18Z run that just came out. So going out, we're here on Tuesday. This is 18Z on Tuesday. We start to see some greens that represent rainfall in and around Jamaica. Going out in time by Wednesday, still see much of the same. The greens that represent rainfall associated with that tropical wave. And look what happens. We start to get in on some deeper convection right there off to the southwest of the island. Darker greens, some yellows in there as well. And look exactly what unfolds as we go out and wrap up the next 168 hours. You can see some of it even pushing towards the northeast. Maybe the trough is still in the area, lingering, causing all of those showers to be pushed out towards the northeast, just like what we had last week. But we remember how that went, with most of the moisture off to our east affecting Haiti and Dominican Republic. But we did indeed get some amount of rainfall on Tuesday, even although we didn't get it on Wednesday. Either way, both maps are in consensus that it's gonna be getting wet in the coming week. Well, this week actually. So there's definitely gonna be an increase in moisture, and everybody is here for it. We're tired of the heat, we're tired of the sun. If we take a look at the hurricane and tropical storm activity from 1944 to 2020, we can actually see that we're here, right here, at the end of May. We're on the last couple of days of May, and we can see the reds and the yellows that represent the fact that we have gotten some amount of activity in the past, so it's not foreign. It can definitely happen again. If we take a look at this map, it's showing where we've had systems developing for the last many years, like 100 years, from May 21 to May 31. And we can see all of these red dots that represent areas where storms have formed. We see a lot of them across the Western Caribbean, one right here towards the southeast of Jamaica, one right here to the north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. We'll see exactly what unfolds to see if anything forms, and I'm sure the Hurricane Center is going to be highlighting it before anything happens. But according to their 7-day graphical tropical weather look that they posted an hour ago at 7:12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:12 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that they have nothing highlighted. They're not expecting anything to be happening within the next 7 days. But we know how quickly that can change. Might wake up tomorrow and they highlight something. Wake up Tuesday or Wednesday, something similar. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and I'll be here to keep you posted if they do. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have that trough that we've been watching across the Caribbean, now pushed off towards the north and the east. We can see the tropical wave that has been affecting the Eastern Caribbean yesterday into today has now been pushed off towards the west, so it's more so across the eastern section of the Central Caribbean. And as we know, it's definitely pushing westward. And we see the ridge of high pressure right here that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region. The other tropical wave that the NHC highlighted on their Twitter page right here. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave. Most of the thunderstorms have died down by evening time, but we know these things go. They fire up and then they die down, and then they fire up and then they die down. And I'll be here to keep you posted just in case they fire up again, especially when it gets closer to Jamaica. We can see the clouds associated with the trough that we mentioned on the surface map, and we can see the clouds associated with that other tropical wave that we just mentioned. We can also see the flow of the clouds being pushed from east to west, all courtesy of the easterly trade winds, not to mention the flow of the upper level clouds from southwest to northeast, all courtesy of the wind shear brought about by the trough still in the vicinity of the area. Alright, so we'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on what took place, or what was predicted to take place across Jamaica for today, Sunday, May 26. It was stated that we would have received some isolated afternoon rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica. And just for reference, eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, so Portland, St. Andrew, Kingston, St. Thomas. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, so St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, so Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? A post was made at 4:15 p.m. highlighting the fact that we had some clouds building across inland areas of some eastern parishes, inland areas of some central parishes, and we definitely had some amount of rainfall across sections of some western parishes, more so the northwest than anything else. We can see those sparkling white or sparkling yellow dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strike, if not lightning flashes. And we definitely had that happen across sections of Hanover, section of southern St. James, northern St. Elizabeth, section of Trelawney, as especially Trelawney. So that indeed confirms the rainfall, even although the rainfall wasn't confined to any coastal areas, especially across the east or the south portions of the island that we really needed. we did indeed get rainfall, and we have one of our followers right here on our Instagram page confirming the rainfall. I am Den77 stating we get little in Hanover, and we even have underscore dot underscore Ryan stating got little in Hanover, thank God for it. So that indeed confirms the rainfall across the western portion of the island. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, you can definitely see what took place. All the clouds were building, especially across inland areas of the island. So maybe northern St. Andrew, southwestern Portland might have gotten in on the action section of St. Elizabeth, eastern Westmoreland, but most of the activity definitely took place across sections of Trelawney. And we can see it all even better on the infrared satellite images right here. We know the high cold cloud tops that represent the cumulonimbus thunderstorm clouds are represented by these blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and we can see the sparkling white dots that represent the lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. So we definitely had some thunderstorm activity, more so across sections of the cockpit country, and with that upper level wind shear pushing off towards the northeast, or pushing the upper level clouds off towards the northeast, we definitely saw most of that spill into sections of Trelawney. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Monday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Monday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Monday, and we see Jamaica right here embedded in some orange colors that represent anywhere from 1 to up to even 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we already know the month of May, the normal temperatures are 89 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look, or is 89 degrees Fahrenheit, when we take a look at the thermometer, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 34 degrees Celsius at most. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that for the most part, the Caribbean has a lot of moist air, as we can see mostly clouds, and these blue colors right here. Jamaica right here on the edge of it, experiencing some dry air on the northern and western side of the island. You know, the dry air is represented by the yellows, the oranges, and the reds, and the whites within those reds. Lots of dry air across the western Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, not to mention right there off the coast of Africa. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, we can see that the Saharan dust is definitely on its way. We see all the browns that represent the Saharan dust stretching all the way across the main development region into the Caribbean, and this is definitely pushing westward. The eastern Caribbean definitely getting plagued with some amount of Saharan dust, some hazy skies, some amount of respiratory illnesses are definitely being triggered in some persons, some people more than others, and this is definitely going to be pushing westward to affect section of Jamaica right here. Alright, so let us take a look at the sea surface temperatures that are currently across the basin. This is as of May 25, and we can see that we definitely have some very warm waters on the surface of the ocean, especially across the main development region and the Caribbean. We can also see the blue tongue right here that represents below normal or below average sea surface temperatures, making its way for the La Nina to set the stage. You know, the La Nina is on its way. It's not La Nina yet, and once it gets here, it's definitely gonna be, you know, influencing the weather conditions across the Atlantic into the Caribbean. We know we have less wind shear, more thunderstorms developing, more storms developing. As soon as the La Nina is here, I'll be here to keep you all posted that yes, it's here, and more than likely the atmosphere is gonna start reacting to that. We're still in El Nino, which explains the drier than normal activity right now. And not only that, but the tropical cyclone heat potential is still a bit robust. This map is as of May 26, and we can see that the waters are even warmer than normal the deeper we go into the ocean. So we know when these storm systems develop, they're going to be sucking up all of the sea surface, all of what's on top of the water. But the thing is, the tropical cyclone heat potential is robust as well. So even if the tops of the ocean are, cleared off or sucked up from these storm systems, they're still gonna have a lot of very warm ocean water deep down into the ocean bottom to work with. So even especially around Jamaica, we see these reds definitely warmer than normal ocean heat potential waters. It's gonna be crazy to see exactly what unfolds when hurricane season is in full swing. Alright, so let us take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing that we're going to be receiving a mixture of those lighter shades of blues, more so on the northern portion of the island, and those darker shades of blues on the northern and eastern side of the island. Now we know represent anywhere from 0.5 meter wave heights to 1 meter, maybe even goes maybe up to 1.5 meter wave height, as you can see by the key on the bottom right. And that's because the winds are not going to be that strong at all. Weaker winds on the north coast with those bluish greens, maybe averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 15 knots, gusting up to at least 20 knots on the south coast. And we can see the general direction on both the Euro and the GFS malls having these winds coming in from the east. Not only that, we can see that the air is definitely going to be piling up across especially sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. So we're going to be having the least amount of winds across those spots. More than likely those low level clouds are going to be becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not cumulonimbus clouds, maybe some thunderstorm clouds in the afternoon. And with the upper level winds still coming in from the southwest across the island tomorrow, it might even favor more of what we had today. If we look back at the infrared satellite images, we saw when those thunderstorms took place across the island, we had those high cold cloud tops being pushed up towards the northeast. So we can't rule out something similar happening again. More of that rainfall across inland areas of some central and western parishes with that thunderstorm activity. And then we have those high cold cloud tops being blown out towards the northeast, bringing more in lieu of that rainfall, if not overcast skies, across sections of some northern parishes than anything else. And if we actually take a look at the rainfall forecast maps, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are in consensus that we're going to be receiving some blues that represent rainfall, more so across sections of some eastern parishes in Jamaica. Let me reiterate, eastern parishes. We're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, a section of Portland, maybe Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas. And what time is this? This is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time. And we see the blues that represent rainfall across those spots on both the Euro and the GFS malls. That's what we look for when we're talking about rainfall certainty. We look for what both maps are agreeing on. And they're in consensus that there's gonna be some rainfall across Eastern Jamaica at 9 a.m. Jamaica time. And if we even skip to about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time, where do we see the consensus in terms of the blues that represent rainfall? More so across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. The GFS are a bit more robust, even showing some darker shades of blues, greens and even yellows in there across sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth. Euro showing more of those blues across central and southern Jamaica than anything else. Not so much across the west, but we see some of it intersection of the east. So we see disagreement, we see agreement, but we're just going to be working with what both maps are showing. And they're in consensus that more so central and western parishes are going to be receiving rainfall during the afternoon. As it relates to the accumulated precipitation forecast, both of these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. Not saying that's going to be raining all the way up until then, but these are the areas that are going to be receiving the most in the way of rainfall. GFS showing up to 0.71 of an inch of rainfall across sections of western Jamaica. Euro showing up to at least 0.54 of an inch of rainfall across sections of the east. We'll see exactly what unfolds in terms of the rainfall totals. Either way, we're in the month of May. We usually receive up to at least 213.05 millimeters of rainfall. That's almost 9 inches of rainfall we usually receive during the month of May. And if we actually get that before the month end, we'll be keeping in track with the average rainfall and more than likely everyone is going to be happy with that because it's going to be doing something about the drought that some areas are currently experiencing. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that we definitely have some amount of thunderstorm activity taking place across sections of northern South America. As usual, it's nothing new. Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname and French Guiana. And we can see that we definitely had the thunderstorm activity taking place across sections of the eastern Caribbean, all courtesy of the tropical wave. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the Leeward Islands, we can definitely see that we still have some leftover rainfall affecting sections of St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, and we can see where we had some rainfall that was affecting sections of northwestern Puerto Rico today. If we actually put these images into motion from earlier today, from about 2 o'clock, we can definitely see that we had some amount of rainfall, maybe even some isolated flash flooding across sections of Dominica, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda. And we can also see that rainfall across sections of northwestern Puerto Rico, eastern Puerto Rico as well. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we don't see much happening across Barbados right now, but we can get in on some stray showers from the east, some isolated pockets. We see some rainfall right there to the north and south of Barbados as well, heading into sections of Trinidad and Tobago, heading into sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, maybe later on into Grenada. You can also see some rainfall coming into sections of St. Lucia, Martinique, and even eventually sections of Dominica from the east. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some amount of rainfall, just like what we saw on the visible satellite images just now, affecting sections of Colombia, sections of Suriname, and even French Guiana. If we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that this map from GFS is showing 18 on Monday. That's actually 1 p.m. on Monday. And we can see the yellows and the oranges that represent above normal temperatures that should be plaguing the Caribbean, but should be even more robust across sections of Central America, where you see those darker reds, and even sections of the United States. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, we do see the Saharan dust stretching all the way from Africa across the main development region into portion of the eastern to the central Caribbean, at least the eastern portion of the central Caribbean. And we know all of this is pushing westward. So eventually, all of this is going to make it to the central and western Caribbean, maybe eventually sections of Central America. Hopefully by that time, most of it has died down. We know we're definitely experiencing some hazy skies across the eastern Caribbean, especially as after this tropical wave that's affecting the area pushes out. We're definitely going to be noticing the Saharan dust, the hazy skies, and it's definitely going to be triggering some amount of respiratory illnesses in some people. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see a mixture of those lighter shades of blues and those darker shades of blues that we can see by the key on the bottom right that represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because the winds are going to be coming in from the east, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 15 knots, maybe even gusting to 20 knots in some spots, as we can see by all of these greens. As it relates to the rainfall forecast now, we can see that there's definitely going to be some more rainfall in store for sections of the central and eastern Caribbean, all courtesy of the tropical wave. And we see both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this, so let's talk about it. Alright, so there's definitely going to be some amount of rainfall in store for sections of southeastern Cuba, Jamaica, sections of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, if they're not already getting it tonight, tomorrow for sure. Some rainfall in store for sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sections of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago might get in on the action as well. And even if we scroll down, as usual, these spots across Central America and Northern America, or Northern South America, are getting in on some amount of rainfall. So section of Suriname, French Guiana, section of Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, section of coastal areas of Nicaragua, southern Honduras, El Salvador as well. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus, just like these two are, the chances of actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.